Welcome back for a new game review. As always, this is Goku's son, DBZ of course. This is going to be a review for a recently released, about a month or so ago, indie game called Windbound. This is a game I definitely want to take my time to play through and give an overall honest thought evaluation and opinion on the game. Now, first I will say about Windbound. Artistically, you can tell the game was heavily influenced by games such as Rhyme, which is a great game. Definitely in certain art styles of the world, I will say. In the water and stuff, kind of reminds you a little bit of maybe Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. And on land, I can see how some people think it reminds them of definitely Breath of the Wild. Now, with that said, unlike Legend of Zelda, Windbound does not focus heavily on combat mechanics. Yes, you can create like spears, use knives and things like that, but it's more predominantly the combat in the game is very janky and clunky, but one, not too surprised given it's an indie game, but with that said, you can tell it's because the game is not meant to be for combat. The game is more about exploration, discovering things. It's more about like survival and crafting is at the heart of Windbound. It's one of the definite things. So if you don't like survival games and you definitely don't like crafting, you're probably not gonna like Windbound, to be honest. I'm just gonna be upfront. Because survival crafting games are an acquired taste. I personally don't mind them, but I see how a lot of people are not fans. But keep in mind, I grew up on like survival horror and things like that, survival type games. So the survival aspect doesn't bar me at all. Crafting, I've never been the hugest fan of crafting, but I don't mind it. And I think survival crafting combined does make sense, but that is predominantly what Windbound is. It's more about survival, it's more about crafting things, whether it be weapons or upgrading your boat. You will definitely come face to face with a lot of different animals and things in the game, and you predominantly use your weapons more for defense and for just to kill an animal to get food in order to survive, because you have two meters in the game. You have first your normal health bar or health meter. Second, you have your stamina meter. Now, if you run out of stamina, you're basically not going to be able to do anything in the game. Without stamina, you can't run or anything. You'll constantly be out of breath and stuff, so you're pretty much screwed if you come face to face with an animal or something, a threat. Now, with that said, there's not a huge amount of story in this game. There's actually really no talking of any kind from the character because there's only one character, and she comes across stuff obviously from the ancient mystic ruins of ancient civilizations, which is something you see in a lot of indie games, such as also Rhyme. That's one of the things. Definitely certain art style of some of the ruins and stuff you can tell was heavily influenced by Rhyme. However, unlike Rhyme, at first when I saw the game and stuff, I was thinking, maybe there's gonna be a lot of puzzles like there were in Rhyme. Unfortunately, I was disappointed in that aspect with Windbound. The game has absolutely no puzzles. Like I said, there is spoilers in this review. So just know that. I won't spoil the ending or anything if you're still interested. But I will say, if you were expecting like a lot of puzzles and things, like myself, you will be disappointed in that aspect. Now, if you like survival and crafting, this is actually probably a game for you. You will enjoy it. There's the way they tell the story is after every episode, you end up in this ancient mystical like realm, and it unlocks a mural. You get a mural per episode. Total, there are 5 episodes. How do you progress from one episode to the next? There is a total of 3 towers in each of these sandbox worlds that you go to, and each world, it gets bigger. The islands go from very small and just here and there a few islands to massive size islands, and the threats will grow as the episodes progress. In the beginning, you'll have like a harmless, like little creature, like furry creature that goes underground and stuff. You'll have like small and large boars will be the main normal threat, will be large boars at first. Then you will come face to face with these creatures. So sort of like, I guess you could say their take on like a rhino or something that looks nothing like a rhino, because it's a much bigger threat, but you get much bigger things of meat which help improve your stamina and health. And as episodes progress, difficulty jumps, and you will face new creatures, new threats in the game. By episode 3, you will become face to face with lizard creatures, unselected islands, and they can shoot a tongue out 20 or 30 feet. You could be on your boat. Like, I learned from personal experience the first time coming across one of these lizard creatures. It literally kept pulling me out of the boat. I nearly died. Somehow the freaking lizard tongue can pull you off your boat, which is insane. Also, if you see like little things, like cocoons or something hanging up above from trees, these weird little like round ball creatures with big giant mouths, sort of like critters, will come after you and chase you until you get off the island into the water. After episode 4 is when you start having real threats, and that is sharks will start appearing in around certain islands. But total, as I said, there are 3 towers. You must unlock the mystical power, activate each of the 3 towers, and then make it to the end of that world in order to make it onward. But that is the big thing with the game. So at the end of the day, I like the animation style, I like the graphics, and I don't mind the survival and crafting elements. Combat is janky, but that's because I think the combat is meant to be janky, since you're only meant to use it strictly for survival purposes only. That's it. It's more predominantly heavily weighs on the crafting elements of the game. You do have to kill creatures not only for food to survive, but for crafting elements as well, for creating like new tools, like new weapons and things. And as the game progresses, as I said, you will see slowly higher jumps in difficulty as the game progresses. That's one thing to know also. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid game. I was hoping originally when I first saw trailers and stuff this game, I thought maybe it would be in my top 3 of the year like Rhyme. But unfortunately, because of no actual puzzles in the game and stuff, though I think the crafting element of the game and survival is not bad at all. I think the crafting is actually pretty decent, though it's somewhat basic compared to other games I've played crafting. Overall, I give the game a rating of, on my grading scale, I'm going to have to give Windbound probably a B-. Still really good game, given I gave it a B. Gets a B- because I was disappointed with no puzzles, and even though, as I said, combat is meant to be more for survival purposes, still it is very janky. Now, surprisingly, I did not have any, like, major glitch issues in the game, surprisingly. I did not have any major frame rate slowdown or anything like that, but I did occasionally have a little bit of control issues with the boat and things like that. And if you even barely touch a rock with the boat will immediately collapse, and pretty much, if you don't have a good amount of stamina, you're going to die very quickly in the water. So these are just few things to keep in mind if you're looking at But at the end of the day, I think the game is more than worth the $29.99, $30 budget price tag on it. I think that's actually not a bad price. I would recommend personally, if you're not as big on crafting survival, maybe wait until a sale, maybe when it drops to about $20 or so, and then pick it up. But at the end of the day, like I said, I give it a B minus. I think it's a pretty solid, really good indie game. Now, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this little game review. This is for Windbound, the PS4 version is the version I played. But if you have a Switch and stuff, I can see you really enjoying this on the Nintendo Switch. Now, with that said, I have a couple new game reviews coming in the near future, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see y'all next time, and stay safe out there in YouTube land. And I'll see y'all again soon enough.